amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Moskin and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vanderkran in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vanderkran in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride.
ride with Shannon's.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono, who's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson offline.
Is green, green, green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to turn it to turns. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns for 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. It's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Moskin and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because I'll tell you what, Bruce Tanak and James Dyke just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't committed, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. God's just absolutely but it is a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SRW TV, and welcome in to round 6 of season 1 of 2025 of the MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship out at Barber Motorsports Park this evening. I'm your commentator Hamish Munro, joined as always through sight and sound alongside by Jack Anderson. Jackos, after a chaotic run through the concrete jungle of Chicago last week, we head out here to Barber Motorsports Park for what could be a race where drivers get caught up by curbs, by grass, maybe even caught up in a bit of a spider's web here or there too. It's going to be a tough race. It's a tough track, and it's one that I think offers up a heap of challenges, but some good racing as well. Yeah, it might be, but it also gives a good opportunity for the drivers that need to actually touch some grass, Hamish. So it should be pretty good racing, and it hopefully not as chaotic as last week as Chicago. How long were you brewing that one up for? I must ask.
As soon as you said grass.
Oh, of course. Well, I mean, for a place that is surrounded by grass, it is also surrounded by, as we can see in the background, giant metal sculptures of insects and animals, of course, best known for the giant spider. Right next to the main straight of this circuit. The grass is even cut in a way that it looks like a spider's web from a blimp cam as well. So that's going to be quite enjoyable for us to keep an eye out tonight. Jeff Arnold in the chat with us this evening as well. Evening to you, Jeff. Great to have you out there with us as qualifying will be underway in a couple of moments' time. I have to ask, Jack, I mean, we've both raced around here before. You've probably done a couple more laps than I have, but how do you think this is? You know, I know you did some laps in practice in a hire car around here in the Super Formula hire car. How did you find things, especially with this car track combination? I mean, previously when I've raced here in the supercar, it takes a little bit to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's pretty fun. I mean, how do you find it out there in that SFL car?
Yeah, it's pretty fun out there. I'm not a huge fan of how the Super Formula feels now, being out of the seat for so long, but for a lot of the guys that race this weekend and week out, it's just one of those tracks that gels well with it. So a lot of the kind of medium to high speed sort of track corners where you can take them flat, where in other cars you really can't. So it's a lot of nice little changes to or from week in week out from Chicago. Completely different, less bumpy, which is always nice for them, and yeah, it's still going to challenge though.
Less bumpy, a little bit more space between the track and the wall. I'd argue that the next sort of 4 races this week, Sachsenring next week, Homestead, and then Suzuka, they've all got similar traits to each other, but they also have something a little bit different about each other as well. I think tonight, Barber, it's more or less the change of direction that can get to you. The Sachsenring, it's the elevation change. Homestead, it's the fast-paced running on the oval section. And then Suzuka is kind of all 3 put into one. And it's one that I think will offer us up, obviously, a great race at the end of the season. But I think we could be on for something special tonight. Of course, sprint round tonight. We've only got sprint rounds leading up towards the final round. The final round is a normal round. So the drivers will only have 15 minutes to set a time in the qualifying session. They'll get cut off once the 15 minutes is done and dusted. So they're going to have to try and sort themselves out and get a lap in pretty quickly. But they seem to be struggling in practice, Jack, to get a time in and to get a lap in. And it may come down to teammates helping teammates and getting some nice tow/slipstream around here just to find that little bit of pace out of the car.
Yeah, exactly. We see from practice times that so far Fifi has actually topped the time sheet, so that's a rare occurrence. So good on him, and hopefully the other boys in the team can find some pace and work together to hopefully see him up there for qualifying and see him replicate it.
I think what's more important is that he actually tries and replicates it in qualifying, if he can even replicate it. The major factor of this track that can determine your lap time is the wind direction, how fast the wind is and which way it's pointing as well. As cars start to enter the circuit, Tyler Sheaf, who was P1 in practice, will be the first to lead them away. But again, as I said, it's going to come down to that wind direction, which way it's pointing, which sections you can get the most out of it. because if it's pointing down either side of the straight, it's going to hurt you at the other end of the circuit. So you would almost want it to help you around the corners more so than down the straights here.
Yeah, you don't want to. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
You definitely don't want a headwind to slow you down, or a wind change mid-session to maybe thwart the efforts of people trying to get the lap times in later. Maybe might pay dividends to them if the wind does decide to change, and give them a little bit of that extra push down the straight if it's a tailwind. But other than that, it'd be a bit hard pressed.
You'd almost want a bit of an air gun at the back of either straight just to push you along. It's a nice little gust to push you down the main straight. I suppose the straights, which are all pretty much lined up, you'd rather have it so it pushes you the direction towards turn one, because you're only copying the headwind down the second straight, and you're getting the tailwind on the main straight, but also on the third straight too, sort of after these couple of little sections. So that might pay beneficial if that were to be the wind direction, of course. But for Sheafy, he's just trying to match his pace that he had in practice. If he could do that, he'd probably be on for arguably a top 5 in qualifying. Maybe even a pole if it can work out well for him. But some drivers may even have qualifying setups prepped and ready for tonight's race. We've also got Andrew Rushworth in the chat. Sheafy did wish a good luck to his teammates out there in the chat earlier too. So great to have you all along for the ride with us here this evening for Barber. I'm excited for it, Jackals. I think, the last time I called a race here was a GT series, and I was a little bit down in the dumps about it, because I thought, it's going to be a bit of a boring race. It's Barber. Doesn't really seem that exciting. But the racing was actually very, very good, and it proved that it wasn't actually just the cars, it was the track itself, because it can offer up so many different little challenges and nuances that drivers have to be able to overcome across the race and across the lap as the car develops. And I think with the development of this car, how it develops across a race and how it develops across a stint is going to lead to us actually having some really, really good wheel-to-wheel action, which we've seen quite a fair bit this season already. And I really think that tonight we're going to see those little battle packs form, but they're not going to be, the finalisation of the contest is not going to be done until that checkered flag flies. It's going to go the whole way, it seems.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many places around here where you can overtake, even places where you wouldn't think going up. If you follow with Sheafy for a little bit longer, you'll see that it goes into like a little chicane going down a hill, and then as it goes into here, and it's kind of like a carousel, or the is it the carousel at no, the corkscrew at Laguna. It's kind of like a nice little overtaking spot if you go to the left around the outside, and maybe get a little bit of extra grip coming out, and going into the last corner if you're a little bit braver.
It's almost a little bit like a dipper at Bathurst as well, that little section.
Yeah, which of course at Bathurst you probably wouldn't want to even attempt to overtake. It may end up a little bit.
Full send, full time. You know this, Jackals. Come on.
Fire up Hamish Munro fans.
Ryan Mueller in the chat. Joins us here this evening.
Yeah, I do apologise in advance. I am kind of getting over an illness. I've got this at the start of this week, or last week, so...
You'd be right. You only sound as nasally as ever.
No, thanks, mate.
Well, you don't sound any less nasally than Sinker does sometimes, so it's not so bad. As Sheafy, P11 on the road at this stage. He hasn't quite matched his time in practice. Mazzaroli has done so though, 1:14.63. Remembering they need to finish their laps before the 15 minutes, otherwise they will get cut off as well. We're 5 minutes into this session thus far, so only 10 minutes to go. Realistically speaking, Jackals, with a 1:14 lap time, they need to be on track for their warm-up lap by, I'd say, the 12.5-minute mark is the latest they could leave pits and then make it round for 2 more laps, a warm-up and a flying.
Yeah, you'd almost want to be out there earlier, because these cars take quite a few laps to get quite up to operating temperature, so like the preferred temperature, and it takes quite a few rather than just an out lap. And
I'm more or less saying final opportunity. Like if you're in pits, your final chances, you need to be out there at 12.5 minutes to make sure you get a lap in before the end. You obviously want to be out there longer because the more that you can drive this car in qualifying, not only the more used to the track you're getting, but the better it actually wears. And it's like a fine wine, isn't it? The longer you race it, the better it gets.
Yeah, exactly, which is complete opposite to the supercar, which is what I'm used to. So I relish that because it means I can go harder for longer, but whereas the supercar, you're not really as or able to do it as much. So
no, that's right. I have turned myself up. I've turned myself up a little bit as well, so hopefully that fixes it. I normally give myself some breathing space in case I yell, because I know how loud I can get. So tell me if it does get too loud, and I'll turn myself down again, or if it's just right. That's fine. But thank you very much for letting us know. At this point, I mean, Davidson's in the session. We were worried because some of the pros weren't actually in practice, Jackos, but they've now come in droves since then. Sinize's in, as well as Davison, the two championship contenders. De Bono, who had a very unlucky run last week at Chicago in the second race, did very well in the first race. And then Mazzaroli too, who, you know, has been up and down all season in the SFL as well. Actually, no, I'm wrong. De Bono did well in both races. I do apologise, but Jordan has been up and down all season in the SFL. He's really been firing on all cylinders in the supercar, more or less. They're such a different car type to drive, you know, comparatively together, Jackals. The supercar and how heavy it can be, the way you have to drive that car to ride rears to get the most out of it, and the much more forward brake bias. And then in the Super Formula, I mean, all of a sudden you've got aero, and you can push the thing around corners. How tough would it be for him to have to go between both cars and be quick in both cars as well? Because, I mean, a lot of drivers out there driving a lot of different car types, and very few are elite in every single car that they drive day after day in a week.
Yeah, it is quite difficult, and you got to hand it to him for being able to go between all those cars and getting the best out of them. So it is, yeah, as you said, it's quite difficult. Obviously, the supercar is a ridiculously heavy beast, and next to no downforce in it, whereas this is basically just a carbon fibre monocoque and just a driver essentially, and a whole bunch of downforce. So very different to drive.
What a different. I mean, they both have their own little nuances, their own little things that you need to learn and to be able to apply to both of them. As Doug Gowan's rockets around, he's in P2 at the moment in qualifying. Him and Danny Davidson are separated at the moment by Matt Gerard in P3. He's P1 for the Pro-Ams at this stage, at the halfway point of qualifying. Top 5 at the moment: Mazzaroli, Gowans, Gerard, Davison, De Bono. The rest of the 10 is Ross, Anita, Tesseriero, Sinise, Levin and Brooks. So got a couple of VSL drivers in there, and Gerard, De Bono. Couple of VRT drivers in Rosanita, Tesseriero, some singles in Davison, Gowans, Mazzaroli, Sinise, SRW driver of 11, and then of course probably Juice Racing's Ben Brook as well. And just outside the 10, Darren Fahey and Sam Katakazinas. All the pros, Jackals, when they have 8 on track tonight, are up inside of the top 12. The top positioned AM driver at the moment is Cam Hardwick in P16. He's got quite a few positions between him and Kevin Wakefield. It seems that championship leader Josh King is missing this race this evening, so this will be a drop round for him, but he's been ultra dominant this season. I don't know if it's actually going to hurt him too much, especially with the rounds that are coming up.
Yeah, exactly. He's been quite dominant. Him being an absentee from this round will be definitely be felt, I reckon, by the rest of the Anfield, and you might see him get a bit spicy, trying to take or capitalise on him not being here, trying to get as many points as they can while he's not here. So it might make things a little bit more spicy than usual for the AM class. Oh, as we see, big
Davison.
moment.
That's huge. That's down at the final, just before the final corner. Big loss of pace for him there off the spin. Ryan saying, tell Sinker to put his foot down. We can't, because Sinker rides the limiter harder than anyone I've ever seen in my life. He actually needs to take his foot off the pedal earlier, or at least change gears earlier, because that's not going to help him with his pace out there riding on the limiter of this car. I'm trying to find where Nick Martin is. Here he is. Nick Martin's out there with us this evening once again. We've got our double view happening for everyone out there. Cal Rosanita's got his camera on. He's finally fixed his twin peaks. His hair was sticking up earlier on. Nick Martin, Andrew Martin with the double camera once again for us as well. Great to have them joining us once again. Keegan Caldwell's changed the position of his camera for the 10th time, it seems. But good to have Keegan on the Video Ninja with us too. We've also got our double screen feature as well, being controlled by Jack Oz in the background too. So many different angles we can get for you guys. In-house cameras with some drivers, and then of course on boards with others too amongst their battles as we rocket around both races this evening. 11 minutes into qualifying, Jack Oz, so it's pretty much crunch time. Anyone that's not out there needs to get out there. That's Greg Johnston pretty much, who's in pit lane. Everyone else is on track. They need to try and stay out there now till the end of the session as Sinise goes pole, 1:14.18. They have to push on now, stay out there as long as they can, because they want to get the car development in. It takes too long to warm this thing up as Sinise runs it wide. So best thing for him to do now is just stay out, do a slow down lap, a nice little cool down, and then go for another push to the end.
The grass does the cooling for him, you know. That's why he's doing it.
Touching grass. It's what we told them to do. He's actually just pulled out the way of Gerard and De Bono, and as well of Jason Depp, good old Captain Sparrow. So Sinise, he's brought just a heap of dirt on track, but he has done the smart thing of just have a cool down lap and have a final push to the end of qualifying. So we'll see his last lap happening very shortly. Mazzaroli P2 at this stage. We'll see if De Bono or Gerard can get any gain off of this tow that they're providing with themselves. And in fact, Gerard's actually pulled away from De Bono. Where is he? There he is there. So not much more for them in this sense. De Bono's given Gerard no towers. He's now behind Brad Hudson, just ahead of him here. Andrew Rushworth. Oops, didn't realise Andrew Martin was racing too. Great father-son combo. It's great to see them racing together in the same room on the same camera as well. Jack Oz in the same series. I mean, it's, you know, I know that myself and my dad raced in the same series a couple of times. Never on iRacing though. But it is pretty cool when you get to race alongside each other, talk about strategy, or even chirp at each other as you're racing and battling on track.
Yeah, 100%. I personally haven't had that experience, so I can't really comment on it. But I would assume that it would be a pretty cool thing to be able to feel with your.
It's all right, Jack Oz.
Your old man.
I'll be your old man, and I'll race in the same room as you, so we can chirp at each other. How about that?
Well, he does have iRacing. He lives 3 hours away. So it's a little bit difficult to be in the same room.
This is true. It sounds like me though. I have iRacing. I live 2.5 hours away. We are one in the same. That's what it is. But for Dylan De Bono, he's got some pace to find here in qualifying. It's not very much. We've mentioned a lot how difficult it is to find those little minute amount of time, the little tenths or the hundredths in your lap time when you seem to be at your peak. Look at how close, though, the times are at the front of the field. Sinise pole, 1:14.178. Mazzaroli, 1:14.250. Gerard, 0.258. Depp, 0.264. Davison, 0.282. De Bono, 0.283. Fay, 0.307. There is nothing in it between them. If we even go back to Doug Gowan's 0.344, P2 back to P8 is separated by less than 1/10 of a second at the moment across that board. That's incredible how close these lap times are and how hard it's going to be for them to find time as De Bono goes pole, 1:14.1 in his final run in qualifying. Can Sinise back it up? He can't. It's all oranges. He's going to have to settle for P2. Mazzaroli's off the road. Qualifying done. Matt Gerard, he's already crossed the line, it seems, and done his qualifying run. That's going to be it for him. Davison's not going to go any better either. Neither is Fay. Hodgkinson. Oh, my God. How do we catch that at the right time? That could have been absolutely incredible. So De Bono, in the dying embers of qualifying, literally with seconds to go, puts the car on pole, 1:14.1 dead. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think he's going to need to, between the race and now, just replace that clutch because he's used up his clutch moment. So That was a brilliant lap by De Bono to clinch the pole for him.
You are using all the high quality jokes tonight, Jackals, I must say. All of them.
I'm using them up early, so.
Well done. Well done. Maybe he needs to touch some grass as well. You know, just get all the little quips in there. But starting grid for race number 1 will be as follows. De Bono will start pole alongside Giuliano Sinise on the front row. Jordan Mazzaroli will line up alongside pole for the Pro-Am's Matt Gerard on the second row with Jason Depp, Danny Davidson on the third. Darren Fahey, Doug Gowans, your top 8 with Callan Hodgkinson and Kaya Filio. The top 10 as we see back on the 6th row, Ben Brook and Callum Rosanita will make up the top 12. Matt Tessariero, Brandon Levin ahead of Sam Katakazinis for the top 15. Martin Lofthouse, Sean Benici, Cam Hardwick ahead of Tyler Sheaf and Nick Martin for your top 20. Brad Hudson, Keegan Caldwell on the 11th row with Matt Fu and Andrew Proctor for the top 24. Kevin Wakefield, Tim Schmalenberg will start ahead of Dean Sinkovich, Nathan Verney, Kurt Heath, Andrew Martin for the top 30. Greg Johnston, Stephen Sinkovich will start plumb last in this race. We know why one driver is missing it this week, Jackos. That's Nick Schmalenberg due to licence points. Some other drivers may be having to take a drop round for other reasons, but we also want to say before race starting that our thoughts are with those in the Queensland and Brisbane area, the southern Queensland area, those who may be affected by Cyclone Alfie at this stage as well. We hope you're staying safe. We hope you'll be able to join us back out on track very, very soon. We know that one of our in-house staff, Greg Barber, of course, is living in that area, so he's right in it at the moment. So hopefully everyone out there can be back with us on track very, very soon in SRW or wherever they may be racing and come back nice and safe, unharmed, and with everything still in their possession as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think I heard some of the drivers talking to, I believe it was Gowie was also in the direct line of projected. So we thoughts and prayers go out to all of the people in Queensland and that their families and homes come out with the best outcome that can possibly come out with. So.
Exactly right. And that everyone can, as I said, come back to us racing very, very shortly. Of course, Cowie in amongst it, as is Barbs and many others too. So hopefully they can all join us back on track very, very soon and are not too affected by this as well. We've got 30 seconds till lights up, but I think it's a little bit shorter than that since the message went up on our screens. As we await to go racing at Barber Motorsports Park for the first time this evening. De Bono will have this car on pole position. We await for Barney to wave the green flag. And for us to go racing at Barber. Lights up. 5 lights. And we're underway at Barber. It was a great start from Dylan De Bono as he leads them in towards turn 1 and the scramble begins once again. As they run around turn 2 as well, drivers trying to find any position they can off this race start because they know that it is going to be, it's going to be a sprint to the end in the 20-minute heat race here this evening. For De Bono, he's had a great start, as is Mazzaroli, as is Sinise, but they're all putting pressure on each other. Davison to be open to work his way early, of course, championship leader at this stage of the season. Gerard and Depp still inside the 10, Gowans as well. Katakazinis has had a great start, and you know why? He jumped the start, so he will have to have a drive-through penalty from iRacing in the 968 car. He's up 5, but he's about to drop to the very back of the field as Matt Fu has gone round further back. He gets it going once again, Jack Oz, but it's a horrid start for him, and it's an unfortunate start for Sam Katakazinis.
Yeah, I was going to actually comment saying that he flew 2 or 3 rows up and must have had a brilliant start, but he unfortunately jumped it. So I retract that statement and look on to the battles ahead.
So Katakazinis comes into pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. To be fair to him, because it's an iRacing black flag, he does have 3 laps to commit to that penalty, so he did not need to do it right now, right here. But he's playing the safe game. He's saving himself from forgetting. He's willing to come into pit lane and serve it now as Lofthouse has a moment up at turn 2 and he's stuck on the... I don't think that's what we meant by touching grass tonight, Jack Oz. I think that's a little bit more than that at this stage as Mazzaroli has been caught out wide down at turn 4 and is just dropping spots to Davison and Gerard as well. He was hungry to make the position over Sinise. We saw him have a little look on lap 1. Maybe got a little bit overzealous on lap 2, and that's now cost him the spots as Gerard runs wide and they look to go back at it.
Yeah, they're going hard at it pretty early, so it's good to see. And yeah, maybe a couple of drivers might be straddling the grass rather than just touching it, Hamish. So yeah, maybe they took our
full grip,
advice
maybe.
to heart.
I mean,
yeah, took our advice to heart. And, we've had Faye gone off.
Hard in the wall. Rear wing of that car's come straight off it as he gets back on circuit. Let's have a look here. What's happened to Darren Fay to lead him to drive a Formula Ford here this evening? There's a round up towards the fast right. Oh, rear just
lost
snapped.
on the direction change.
Yeah.
Very easy to do in that section.
Not too bad of a contact, actually. It looked a lot worse as it had come back on track than how it was when it was actually going in. It was a lot slower than what we may have anticipated. But Tabono has built up a nice lead, 0.8 of a second. He's got nothing slow about him here tonight. Sinise looking to chase him down. Davison's in this battle too, so all the championship favourites in on this battle this evening. For Sinise, well, he's not gaining very much over Davison at the moment. Only 2 points off of the 40 that he has to break down to Davison ahead of him in the championship battle. Mazzaroli just needs to stay where he is and he'll gain some good points as well. For Gerard and Depp, this is imperative they finish where they are because they want some good points towards the end of the season. We know that Gerard can't be here every week, so he tries to do as well as he can when he is here. But for Depp, he is here every week and he's in this Pro-Am battle.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to, Jason just want to capitalise. He's had a couple of weeks where he's had things happen outside of his control, like internet dropouts and those sort of things. We've got Martin off track in the same section that, he's just had a major
blink from him.
At me.
What's happened to Andrew Martin? Oh,
same thing.
Yeah.
Turned in and the rear does not agree with him.
He probably made the smart choice to just slowly take it off track and then live to fight another day for Stephen Martin at the moment. Nick Martin, though, is sending it at turn 3 on your screen. He is, he's going for big moves early here, Jackos, is Nick Martin.
That was Benici, actually.
Oh, was it Benici?
I'm on board with.
It is Benici.
But yeah, he is around that pack, so. And he is, he's slowly eating away at the back of Sheafy, making him sweat a little bit. But
former Frogleap Juice Racing driver in Sean Benici, now running for Whiskey Runners Racing. Of course, races in both categories of GSRC and SRW does Sean. So he pretty much, whichever one he does better in at the end of the season, that's the one that he represents in the AOWN. So if he does the best in GSRC, he represents them as a GSRC driver. If he does the best in SRW, he represents SRW in that race as well. Kaya Filio up inside of the top 10. He's up 1 position. He's just in behind Ben Brook at the moment, who's currently up 3, and he's got Brandon Levin in behind up 4. So a couple of big movers alongside of Kaya Filio, but he hasn't managed to take advantage and move as far forward as they have. Further up inside of the top 10, Danny Davidson, he's up those 3 spots, but he's kind of in no man's land. He's not really gaining on Sinise, not really losing anything to Mazzaroli. He's kind of at that plateau now, Jackos, of where, again, you're trying to find any pace that you can, but with the straights possibly not quite long enough for you to get enough toe, you've got no way that you can really get the overtake done. Yeah,
exactly. So these straights, probably just a little bit too short to affect the overtaking, as you mentioned, and it's a little bit frustrating as a driver when you're trying to get that little tiny bit of an advantage over someone to maybe get the overtake over the draft. Maybe if they had a DRS or a bit of curves, you know.
Bit of push to pass, possibly. Might help them.
But unfortunately not in these cars. Maybe the big brother cars, but Filio had an accident.
He has indeed, and he is off the road. Look at, actually, this is a great camera shot. Look at the angle of turn 1. If you fail to realize sometimes that car is destroyed. Mind you, that thing is cooked. down at turn 1. What has happened to Kaya Filio to send him off the exit of turn 1? He's had Brandon 11 on his inside, send him at turn 1. It's a horrible camera angle. Let's try and get a better one. Got cut off by the mountain then. Here we go. 11 goes for the move. Inside line. Filio goes to turn the corner and bang, straight in the wall. Wow, wowee. That's big contact for Filio, who's been allowed to tow, so no safety car just yet.
No, I think he was far enough out. He was close enough to the exit road that they were allowed to let him tow and wasn't in any immediate danger at all.
No,
as Nick Martin and Stiefy side by side into the second last corner there.
They are having a great old, as James Puff would say, great old ding-dong back there. Wheel-to-wheel action, really pushing the limits of these cars.
Just a little tussle.
Just a slight tussle. Little rough up between them, you know. Bit of a...
Oh, there's a nice little battle up ahead of them too, with Cam Hardwick and Beniti as well.
Yeah, they're all getting
Just
involved.
slicing and dicing each other. They're going to end up as pizza slices soon.
Have they at least got the pineapple and jalapeno on it?
I reckon this one will do by the end of the race.
Oh, yes, definitely. He definitely will, Mr. Singovich.
He loves a bit of pineapple.
Guacal in the chat, Sinise just needs to stay consistent. Davison will make a mistake somewhere based on his previous races you broadcasted. Well, I mean, realistically, regardless, as Sinker's gone round, you clicked off him as he's now gone round. You put the Moz on him. This is not just for Davison or anyone else, but realistically, Guacal, what we've seen each season is it's not necessarily the fastest driver that wins the title. It's the most consistent driver that wins the title. So we look back even to last season. De Bono, hot favourite all season, drove the season of his life, but he was unlucky in 2 rounds in a row. So one of them was a forced drop round, as Davison is missing his air intake on the side of this car.
Interesting.
I think I know how, and I'll play it in a second. But yeah, realistically, it is consistency that wins you the title. So De Bono, he led the championship majority of last season, had an unfortunate round 1 week. That's his drop round. The next week, he had an unlucky round again where he was taken out by somebody else. That cost him the title to Daniel Byrne, who had stayed consistent the whole time, as that there was Jordan Mazzaroli, spun round at turn 2. So P3 has now gone by the wayside down at turn 3. They're all dropping here, it seems. But the one moment I want to find is when Mazzaroli actually got his way past Danny Davison, because that will explain how that contact happened, how the damage occurred as well for Mr. Davison. I've got to try and find it. That was a nice little cough from you there, Jackos. So we'll quickly run back through some of these moments. This was Sinkovich.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I had my mic muted.
That's okay.
I did that.
That's okay. This was Sinkovich earlier on in his spin. So he tried to dive Schmalenberg, and both round they went. Synchronized spinners there from both of them. This was then Jordan Mazzaroli's moment down at turn 3 or turn 4. Oh, that's not good. That is not good at all. And I found the moment that I was looking for as well. Let's have a look here. So this was how Davison caught some damage. So Mazzaroli up the inside, turns around. Mazzaroli gets it done, but I want to see.
Contact there.
Yeah, that's where the air intake was lost.
So a little bit of disagreement.
Yeah. So De Bono leads the way. 3.3 seconds is the current gap. As Cal Rosanita and Matt Tesseriero's now dropped a spot, but Cal is spun round at the bottom of the hill at the second to last corner. What has happened to Callum Rosanita?
Question is, do I need to close my eyes?
He only, to be fair, somehow, barely any damage on that car. somehow.
Yeah, he seems to have gotten away with it. Like, I can't remember what year it was, but one of the HRT cars hit a wall side on, like perfectly side on, and didn't. Oh, that's a
sinker.
big hit.
So Kaya Filio was trying to go around the outside of Steve Sinkovich, and Sinker's just straight lined the corner and pushed him out wide. It's unfortunate.
Sinker just seems to be getting the oars out tonight.
Yeah, he does. So Sinise P2 on the road now and behind Dylan DeBono. Gerard in behind him. Gowans has now made his way past Danny Davidson, who's dropping pace due to that airbox off the left-hand side of the car that it came off in that moment with Mazzaroli down at turn 4 or 5. So Davidson's now got pace to drop at this point in this race. He's got Depp in behind. So realistically for Davidson, I mean, he's just got to try and maintain now. Realistically, Jack Oz, if he just lets the ebb and flow of the race come together, he may actually naturally end up back in P10 and in pole position for race 2. So this may not actually work out too bad for him. He's let step past.
Did you just say ebb and flow or even flow?
I said ebb and flow, but even flow as well.
Ebb and flow. All right. Just reminds me of the song, obviously, but yeah.
Side pod cover. It is the side pod cover.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just had to restart my IRacing.
Barber RC at Barber conflict of how is that a conflict of interest? Is a conflict of interest at the track? I mean,
it's because we're racing at his track.
So that would then mean that he could give penalties to whoever he wants or not to whoever he wants. Not really, actually, no, because no one's his driver. Regardless.
Surely he would be giving penalties to people who mess up his lawn.
Oh, quite possibly. That might be it. That might be a good case for it, actually. DeBono 4.5 seconds now up the road from Giuliano Sinise. 6 minutes left in this race. Sinise gets past Kaya Filio, lap traffic for him here. This is now working a little bit more in the hands of Sinise as Davidson's gotten back past Depp. The further that Davidson drops, the more points he's losing to Sinise, and then the further that gap is dropping as well. As 11 sends it up the inside of Ben. Brook gets that job done nicely. Brook giving him plenty of room at this stage as well. Is that like Red Bull at Red Bull Ring? That would be more so, actually, I would say. The Red Bull would have more favoritism at the Red Bull Ring because Barbs is not racing today. He's RCing.
Did you feel like a rebel drinking something other than a Red Bull at Red Bull Ring?
Oh, it's,
Like
it's definitely Pepsi bottle, Coca-Cola glass scenario all over again. It is really giving that energy, I must say. I suppose if you're a Monster driver, a Mercedes driver, you're drinking out of a Monster can at the Red Bull Ring. So maybe feel like a bit of a rebel.
Mazzaroli on the back of these, like Burmy and Rothanita he's pestering the back of these blokes because he's definitely got the pace over him. Wakefield was crashed as well.
Yeah, what's happened to Kevin Wakefield at this stage? He's in behind Andrew Martin, had Greg Johnston in behind him as they run up and around. Oh my God!
Jono, the innocent bystander yet again.
I feel like we need a POV of Jono then from that one. I mean, that was insane.
He did pretty well to land back on his wheels.
That's a 10 out of 10 pirouette if you ask me. Oh my God.
Yeah, land on his wheels, just continues his way on and just goes into the pits.
Fair play. Fair play. Commentators no fun. What do you mean commentators no fun? We have all sorts of fun. Thank you very much. We're very fun. We don't touch grass. Oh, Matt Tesseriero though and Keegan Caldwell put it into the wall as well. So this corner at the end of the circuit, Jack Oz, the sort of second to third last corner, start of the final sector, catching quite a few drivers out tonight, it seems.
And it looks like one of the wheels might be dislodged on Keegan's car there, so that might be a bit difficult if it's one of the rear ones. May not let him get back to the pits.
Jackals, we're starting to get flamed because somebody put a bad joke in the chat and we didn't laugh.
Which one?
The one about Barber RC at Barber conflict of interest.
Ah.
9 out of 10 didn't stick the landing. Oh, I'd blame that more on the ramp more so than Johnston's attempt.
Mate, that's all right. If I was driving the car, you wouldn't get that car off the ground. So.
No, there you go. Be the other car to get off the ground.
Oh, John.
Oh, no. He's had another moment.
Oh.
Oh, ho, ho. What has happened to Greg Johnston once again? Oh, it's the same corner. It's the same one that's catching them out. Oh, my God. To be fair, nearly caught the drift.
Yeah, it is very easy to do. I've spun a couple times there. Oh. Very lucky.
That was very, very lucky indeed. As De Bono runs down towards the next sector, he's got a couple more laps left in his locker for the rest of this race. Nah, I'm not salty. I'm full of pepper, actually. Thank you very much. So, for De Bono, he's had a great race tonight, Jackos. Sinise is about 6.8 seconds off the back of him as well. I mean, what can other drivers maybe do better in race 2? Because the later that this race has gone on, the worse it's getting for them into that last sector where they're all getting caught out by the rear end.
Yeah, it seems like they might maybe just push the brake bias forward a little. I know that a lot of drivers do like to crank it back to a lower setting than what the setup comes out with originally. So maybe just try playing with the bias a little bit, but I don't know. I say put it back even further and spice it up even more.
Oh, just try and drift it more and more around the corner.
Just running in the 90s style.
Get the Eurobeat going. So Dylan De Bono, it appears, has got, I think, 1 lap left. So this should be the final lap of the race as he runs up towards the line. We maybe, though, could sneak another one in if he's fast enough. They're running about 1:14 across every lap, as on the other screen we've got battle between Jordan Mazzaroli and Andrew Proctor happening. So Mazzaroli's on the comeback at this point after a spin down at the Little Dipper-esque section of this track. As De Bono runs around towards the final corner. Oh no, we might get one more in. It's going to be tight. 15 seconds to the 20. Round the final corner comes Dylan De Bono. It'll be one more lap. So white flag from Barney, literally with 5 seconds to go. De Bono adds a 17th lap to this amount as well. Sebastian Prestimo on the chat. Where does Sinise have to finish to lead the championship? He would need Davison to finish P20 and he'd have to win to gain the 40 points back in race 1. Race 2 is a little bit easier because it's 3 points per position. So that would be... Oh, well, pretty much if Sinise finishes where he is, where Davison is, so that's 9 positions, so 18 points. That puts it back to 22. So race 2, he'd have to beat Davison by 8 positions, and he'd lead the title out of this race.
Something's happened to Cam Hardwick as well. He had to request a tow.
Yeah.
Not sure
Where
what
is
exactly
he?
it was.
Oh my God. That's... That doesn't look good for Cam Hardwick. We'll have a look at it once De Bono crosses the line as Jason Depp has found a beach. The 7 Seas has anchored it on the beach, Jack, as De Bono
There's no water
round.
out there, Depp.
No water out there, Depp. As De Bono comes round for the final time in race 1, takes the checkered flag in the win at Barber Motorsports Park. Sinise looks to come home P2, 8.8 seconds back, but we want to have a quick look at what's happened to Cam Hardwick to put him into the wall at the very ferocious right-hander. It's rear end snap all over again and bang. That's how he's ended up in the grass out there and into the tyre barrier. Unfortunate for Cam Hardwick, but a great run tonight for Giuliano Sinise, who gains some points over Davison, who's currently P8 on the road, runs it wide after the checkered flag. So What's that? 7 positions, 14 points gained for Sinise, dropping the gap back to 26 for race 2. Being that it's a 3-point difference in the feature, it means that he needs to finish 26, 13, no. 8 positions ahead? No. 9. 9 positions ahead of him. 9 positions for Sinise in the next race. Pretty much he needs to win and have Davison P10 or below, and he would get it off the back of this race. So the championship fight is heating up. It is closing ever so tightly as we speak. Gerard did well to come home P3. Gowans came home P4 in the end of that one, as well as we move on to the warm-up session. Now, 5-minute little warm-up session as well. Andrew Rushworth asking, did Kurt just win the AM race? Let's have a look, Andrew. We'll get the results up for race 1. And we'll have a gander to see who our race winners were. So, Heat 1, provisional results on your screen now. DeBono, Sinise, your top 2 ahead of Matt Gerard, who won it for the Pro-Ams. Gowans and Levin, the top 5 with Brooke, Hodgkinson, Davison, Depp, and Martin, the top 10. Benici, Sheaf, Hudson, Mazzaroli, Proctor, the top 15. Rosanita, Verney, Catechisinas, Lofthouse, the top 19 in that race. Kurt Heath takes his first class win. Congratulations to Kurt. Takes home an AM victory in the first heat of the night. That's a great effort from him. Faye Tesseriero, Dean Singovich, Matt Fu, Kevin Wakefield, the top 25. Tim Schmalenberg, Greg Johnston, Andrew Martin, Keegan Caldwell, the top 29 as we move back. Cam Harwick, Kaya Filio, and Stephen Singovich at the back of the field. So congratulations to Kurt Heath. His very first class win here in the MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship. To Matt Gerard on another Pro-Am class win, and to Dylan DeBono for an overall win this evening in the first heat. Whiskey Business Racing. Thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate it. Whiskey Business Racing is Sean's team. Thank you very much. Brockle saying they must have been close to 0.5 faster than Sinise per lap. That's huge. Yeah, quite possibly for DeBono. It also could have meant as well that Sinise may have just caught some traffic too across that race as well, that then cost him time as well. So Jackos, we expect obviously a pit stop in race 2. We didn't quite get to having a safety car in that race. We had a couple of incidents here or there that may have cost one, but no one was really on or off track that caused a major incident that may have copped it, apart from maybe Greg Johnson and Kevin Wakefield, but they kept going. Yeah, exactly. And you did start to see drivers towards the end there making a couple of mistakes as maybe the fatigue sets in, and maybe we'll see a bit more of it with double the length of the race for the second race. So maybe we'll see some fireworks go off, and who knows, it may bring some great racing. So Giuliano Sinise is out on track now for the warm-up session. Now, of course, we are also, don't take what we say as gospel in terms of where he may sit in the championship standings now, because it's all mental maths, and the mental maths can be wrong sometimes. Sometimes we can make a little boo-boo in the calculations, but at this stage, I'm pretty confident he's about 26 points behind Davison after that race. He's starting behind Davison in this one. What do you think Sinise is going to have to do to try and get those positions over him, even just to equalise the points that him and Davison have leading into next week at Sachsenring?
I'll just send him into turn 1,
Deep breath, full send, hope for the best.
Yeah. Just pull the belts a bit tighter and knuckle down and just finish ahead of him, really.
I mean, there's not much
even if it's just 1 or 2 spots ahead. Just keep out of trouble, make sure you get the points.
I think what's probably the most important thing is not give up more points than what he gained in race 1. Because then race 1 was for nothing.
Yeah, you got to close the gap over a race weekend, or a round. So you can't just go, oh yeah, I got more points in this one race, but he came back and scored way more than me in the second and cancelled out my first one. that just won't work. So you just got to, even if it's just by a position or two, or a couple points here and there, just try and finish ahead, and over the whole weekend, just try and make sure you get through smoothly with no incidents, and you'll find your way towards the front of the field.
Well, every point counts. You know, everything that you can get, it counts towards that total. And we're getting down to crunch time this season. We're round 6 of 9. We've got 3 to go after this week. We talk early season. It's not worth going for the position because it's only worth 2 points, or it's only worth 3, or it's only worth 4. This is the point of the season, though, where it does matter. It matters if you go for those positions because that could make or break your championship, and that could make or break your opportunity and how much pressure is put on you in the final round at Suzuka. So for Sinise to maximise now, more or less what he has to do is just drive. Try and be consistent. Try and stay in it and just try and move his way forward as best he can. I think he just needs to run his own race and hope that Danny, you know, doesn't break away and get out in the lead, and just hope that you have an opportunity to get back past him and gain some points on him at the end.
Yeah, that's 100% right.
So the starting grid for race 2 will be as follows. Nick Martin will start pole position ahead of Jason Depp on the front row of the grid. Danny Davidson, Callan Hodgkinson, your top 4. Ben Brook, Brandon Levin will start ahead of Doug Gowans, Matt Gerard, Giuliano Sinise, and Dylan DeBono. So you see there are 6 positions separating Sinise and Davison in this race. That would equate to 18 points after this on, which would be more than what Sinise actually gained on him in race 1. Benici Sheaf, your top 12. Hudson, Mazzaroli, Proctor, Rosanita, the top 16. Verney, Catakazinas, Lofthouse, Heath, the top 20. Ahead of Faye, Tesseriero, Singovich, and Matt Fu for the top 24. Wakefield, Timothy Schmalenberg, Greg Johnson, Andrew Martin, the top 28. Ahead of Keegan Caldwell, Cam Harwood, the top 30. Kaya Filio, Stephen Singovich will make up the 32-car grid here this evening. Greg Barber, Greg Leake, Mark Cochran, once again, will be race controlling race number 2 this evening. For Nick Martin, well, it's a heavy, heavy pressure moment at the front of the field. Starting pole position, the amount of pressure on that young driver right there, I have a feeling that a couple of prayers may be coming out of those chairs at the moment. Jack Oz, of course. Andrew, I do believe, works as a mechanic on the Jesus Racing Tirana and Touring Car Masters. So maybe a couple of prayers from him, or just some hope that he can survive up the front of the field and get a quality finish here tonight.
Yeah, and you can see from the videos, they're just having a little joke around, a little fun, just to maybe settle the nerves of starting on pole. So it's good to see, as we said earlier, it's great to see father and son racing together on the sim together.
Yeah, it's great to have them out on track as well. We've got about a minute until we get our lights up. We go racing. Keegan Caldwell's back out there. Still needs the googly eyes on there.
I was just about to say the same. He's on his phone again.
He is. We caught him last time driving down the straight at Chicago on his phone. We have no idea how he pulled that one off, but somehow he did. And then Cal Rosanita's got the virtual camera running once again for us on his end too. Plus, we've also got a double screen as well, getting us all sorts of angles of this Barber racing circuit as well. Roughly 30 seconds until the lights are going to go up, and Nick Martin will lead us away for race number 2 here this evening. He's got Danny Davidson lining directly up behind him, and Depp will have the clear run out of P2 as well. Gok was saying, quick tip for the guy in VR this week: don't touch your phone while you race. Probably the best one that you could give there, Quackle, I'll be honest with you. As we await for lights to go up, let's go racing as well. We're underway at Barber once again. The scramble towards turn 1 as Martin rockets through one. Depp's gone with him well. Hodgkinson's already up on the inside of Davison, gets the job done off that move. As we run around turn 3 and up towards turn 4, the scramble continues on for drivers in behind. Gerard with a horrid start in this one's already dropped to Sinise DeBono as well, as Sinise's already tried to get past Gowan, so he's already making moves forward. He's got Levin in behind. Car 999, car 115 jump starts in this race as Nathan Verney is dropping spots, and he's on his lid. Could this be the safety car that we've waited for?
I thought Cam might have actually tried to push him over then, by the way he angled there. There was multiple cars involved then. There was
oh my God, Sinise!
Oh,
Sinise with a massive one, and Levin as well. That is absolutely huge off this race start. Sinise's car absolutely destroyed.
Can he get going, or is he going to need a tow?
I reckon he might. He's got it going, so this could be the saving grace. He won't go a lap down, but he's going to have to get this thing fixed as Benici comes in for his drive-through. We also expect the 115 of Kaya Filio to also come in for his drive-through as well. But big implications on the championship with Sinise getting involved in a massive stack off this race start and now has to traverse through the lane and will be forced at a minimum to take 2 stops in this race as the safety car is out there. That was absolutely huge. We got to check some of these moments once again, because I mean a wild and woolly lap one, it must be said. All beginning with Nathan Verney down at turn 5 at the hairpin. So he's on the inside line. He had Faye and Heath in behind. Oh my God, it was Andrew Proctor losing the rear that just sent him over then. Wow, wowee. And then Levin as well. Outside line on Sinise. There was a little bit of contact. Too hard to determine who may have been at fault. We'll leave that one up to RC. Let's try and get a better view of this. Oh my God. That was
very lucky to have stayed on all 4 there.
Very, very lucky as well. And very lucky that he actually managed to drive it back to pit lane. So the benefit now for Sinise is he hasn't gone the lap down, Jack Oz. So he doesn't need a wave around. He is still on the lead lap. The problem now for Brandon Levin, Andrew Proctor, and Nathan Verney is they're all a lap down. They will now require a second safety car to get themselves back onto the lead lap.
Sorry, I'm just saying that it's saying that everyone's crashing. I'm assuming that's because they're all slowing down.
Yes,
so,
yes, it will be.
But yeah, you will see that, as you said, a lot of the cars will have to make a... well, I say a lot of the cars. The cars that have already come in will definitely need to make a second stop. They won't make it home from here, unless there is another safety car. So they will be banking upon the saying that safety cars breed safety cars and hope that they do get another one, so then they can even save a bit more fuel.
They'll probably need, I would say, at least 2 more. Do we know when the safety car was called? I can tell you when it entered the circuit. It entered the circuit just as Benici was coming in for his drive-through. So, I mean, you got to remember though, it does take time for them to, you know, check those incidents and make sure that it is that the cars can't safely tow. I think the determining factor of the safety car getting called may have actually been Levin parked where he was on the edge of the circuit. I know that Verney was on his lid, but I think the determining factor was the fact that there was 2 or 3 cars stranded out there on different spots that made it hard for them.
Yeah, exactly. When there's multiple incidents in different spots, it is sometimes difficult to quickly go between them and determine whether the safety car is needed straight away or whether you can let them tow.
So safety car restart will be underway in just a moment's time. And we await to see. I mean, what a good start though for Martin, for Hodgkinson. They're both up now into the top 2. For Martin, this plays into his hands a little bit, Jack Oz, because if he gets safety car after safety car, well, he's going to be able to stay at the front of the field. For Sinise, he wants green running because he wants to be able to fight his way through and hope that there may be some unluck for drivers up ahead of him, namely Danny Davidson, because he needs to try and finish ahead of him or at least within one position, to get some gain out of tonight's event. He does not want to go backwards after he's just gone forwards in race 1.
Yeah, exactly. We've had the we've just had the safety car lights out. Going to be returning to the lane, so we are going green this lap.
So, big green flag with Nick Martin leading the field off the back of this one. How long do we go green for? Well, that's yet to be determined. As we run around the final corner, Nick Martin gets us back underway. Green flag running at Barber Motorsports Park once again. And Martin is under the pressure at the front of the field, as Hodgkinson is trying to hang with him, but forces it wide at turn 1 in towards 2. So Martin now getting some reprieve at the front as Kurt Heath and Keegan Corbell go side by side. Further back in the field as well. So already battling early on here as Kaya Filio and Cam Hardwick run side by side too. But for Martin, it's been a good restart here, Jackos.
Oh, there's a crash down at the bottom.
Oh! Kanakazinas and Lofthouse off the road. Well, they're both rolling again, which is good to see. That's a big, big moment for both Lofthouse and Kanakazinas off the restart of this race.
That's a bit of a weird one there. It almost seems like maybe Katakazino had a little checkup for the car ahead of him, but or maybe car behind just didn't slow down quite enough. But it definitely happens in racing, and you don't like to see it happen. But yeah, that's just racing, I'm afraid.
It is. I mean, it's one that, you know, a lot of drivers can get caught out every now and again, of course, but it's just one that, you know, you hope that they can just try and stay within the fight as best they can. For Depp, he's done well off this restart. He covers the inside line nice and early here off this run towards the start-finish line once again. But they're running up around the midpoint of the circuit. He's got Brooke running just on his outside, gets the move done. So great little battle happening between them. Gowans is off the restart. Done well. Big lock up though from Depp. That's going to cost him and let Gowans through. De Bono wants to sneak it around as well. So both Gowans and De Bono, the former teammates, looking to work together here to make their way forward. They've got De Bono's teammate Matt Gerard in behind them as well. So former teammates, still friends, working together on circuit. As Davison is yet to find a pathway round Callan Hodgkinson, who is hot on the heels of Nick Martin and possibly could be starting to get held up here a little bit, Jack Oz.
Yeah. There was a car massively wide going over that little jump on the exit of the last corner.
Yep, car 87 has been given a drive-through penalty. That's Martin Lofthouse as well. Do apologise, my headset decided to disconnect then as I was telling the dog off, so very sorry about that, Jack Oz. That cut you off then, as Davison's now gotten past Hodgkinson.
Yeah, and we had Jason Depp before the race started, or before qualifying even, when he was in practice, was a little bit cheeky and was saying that he's got his little jar of dirt coming around the track, so I reckon he's missed that, and he's maybe spilt it on his own tyres there when he went wide. So hopefully he can gain a few spots back, find a bit more pace, and yeah, maybe capitalise on it once he finds his dirt.
So Hodgkinson still needs to fight here. He wants to try and maybe just keep himself nice and steady in the run home. I mean, we're only 10 minutes in. We've still got half an hour to go, Jack Oz, plus pit stops as well. So still a lot of racing left to run. For Nick Martin, he hopes to run away from Danny Davison as quick as he can. The problem he may face now, car 87, upgrade to a 30-second stop hold for the second incident on lap 4. So Lofthouse is now stacked 2 penalties, which has now put him up to a 30-second stop hold penalty, thanks to that moment on lap 4.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've ever seen that.
I think he's actually decided that he's out of the race as well, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's the first time I've seen it get stacked like that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's the way of the penalty matrix, it seems.
Did you say earlier that there was someone that was actually going to try and serve their drive-through or something, or they were going in the lane when they had a drive-through?
So Benici and Filio did their drive-throughs because of their jump starts. I said that Lofthouse had gotten a drive-through, but he then had stacked a second penalty because it was quick succession with, I think it was Sam Catakazinos, and that's why it was upgraded to a 30-second stop hold from the drive-through for Lofthouse.
A driver's actually allowed to do a drive-through when it's under safety car conditions, even if it's a iRacing black flag.
No.
Or is that a bit of a grey area?
I think that's a grey area for iRacing black flags. I know if it's one from the stewards, they can't. Oh no! Another moment at the fast right for Greg Johnston. Let's say Andrew Johnston for Greg Johnston, who now has to get it back going again at the final corner. That's very unfortunate for Jono there. Matt Keane in the chat saying people causing multiple incidents then quitting is poor. I totally agree with you there, Matt. I think it's very poor. You do the crime, you got to do the time, unfortunately. If he is out before 7 penalties, that means a rear grid next week. To be looked at later, for sure. Mick Clifton in the chat, giving love to Matt Fu and Kurt Heath. So hard to sit out these races. I know it is, Mick. I don't know if you were here earlier, but Kurt actually took his first class win in the AM class in race 1, as Nick Martin is now under pressure from Danny Davidson at the front of the field. So this pressure has started to become maximised now for Nick Martin. He is under all sorts of pressure here from Danny Davidson, who does lead the championship. We know he's got some pace, but it's going to be now how well can Nick Martin hold on for the rest of this one. If he can hold on to the pit stop, he may have a chance here, Jack Oz, if someone can maybe undercut Davison and put someone between them.
Yeah, he definitely seems like he's holding on all right, although as I say that, he got very close to almost cutting the gearbox off of Nick's car there, but very hard racing, very fair racing, and looks like he might be trying to get up the inside for the little corkscrew section that we named it.
Yeah, side by side. Davis, oh my God.
He doesn't give him any.
He didn't want to go in. He did not want to send it. Nick was not willing to give that up. Some fantastic racing. Got to give it to the kid. I mean, he is pushing hard at the front of the field to hold on into P1. And Davison is getting maybe a little bit irritated, maybe a little bit frustrated by how hard Nick is defending him, but he has every right to. He's in P1, and he has every right to fight for this win as Hodgkinson now wants an outside run on Davison. Oh, I'm about to say, please don't make it 3 wide. It's only going to end in tears. As Hodgkinson gets the job done on Danny Davison, Nick Martin has survived another lap here at the front of the field. This has been some phenomenal racing from the young fella as he does it right next to his dad, and you got to know how proud Andrew would be if Nick can pull this off.
Yeah, you'd almost imagine him just pulling over, and he looks like he might be having a little peek there at his screen, just a little to watch all the action. Oh, he's still holding on there. He's not giving up. Credit to him. He's definitely sticking up with the big bloke.
Is he going to have the cojones to go down where Davison wasn't willing to?
Surely.
Surely send it. Hodgkinson's got it round the outside. Lock up from Martin, and he's hit him. The kid's hit him off the road, and the disappointment in Nick's face. He knows what he's done, and unfortunately for Martin, that may very well be a penalty coming his way as car 115 has been given a drive-through penalty for contact. Oh, sorry, serving a penalty under the safety car. That's Kaya Filio. That was Matt Gerard and Ben Brook. They've gone round as well.
Yeah, you got to feel for him. Obviously didn't mean to take him out or anything, but just good hard racing, and good on him for giving it a crack. But yeah, obviously you don't want to see anyone take each other out. So.
Oh, Sean Benici has parked it up here. Why is Sean
Could this
parked?
be the reprieve that the early stoppers are looking for? Maybe another safety car?
So this was earlier in the lap. This was down at turn 1. Oh, lost the rear. Did he hit the wall? No, not quite. So why? Sure, he's now towed. So very interesting. But yeah, Glock was saying unlucky Martin. He clipped the curb and bounced, lost his braking. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Oh, Sean blew his engine. Very unfortunate there for Sean. And I don't think it goes from bad to worse for him at this stage. So Danny Davidson now leads. Dylan De Bono is hot on his heels. So this rivalry now gets reignited for us, Jackods. I don't think the hotly contested P1 battle is over just yet, because we've traded Cal Hodgkinson and Nick Martin for Dylan De Bono now with Danny Davidson. So we had that hot battle between the three of them to now cut it down to last season's hottest rivalry of De Bono and Davison, and they look to continue their little bit of bad blood at the front of the field.
Yeah, definitely, and it's great to see. Just battling it out as hard as they can, and they'll definitely try to keep it clean because they know what at stake here. They'll think bigger picture.
So Davison, De Bono at the front of the field. Gowan's trying to chase him down. Nick Martin is in behind him, but we suspect maybe a penalty could be coming his way after that moment between him and Hodgkinson. Not that it was
big send by Matthew Fu there.
Oh,
he got two spots in one corner down the inside. Wham bam, thank you, man. I'll take the positions off you. Well, and as I've been talking to him up, he's gone into the sand. He's dropped 3 spots now. That's definitely the commentator's curse at work there.
Oh, well, we know that we love to work out the commentator's curse as much as we can. So this front
we need to talk about Sinker more, I reckon, if we're going to do that.
Oh, I think so. I think for sure we need to. I think we need to try and bolster as much as we can to try and just force some mistakes from Steven Sinkovich, it seems.
It'll be pretty difficult to do when he's in the lane, though.
Yeah, he's out of this race, so it's unfortunate. But maybe we can commentate a curse his pit crew, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. We could translate it onto Dean, but I don't think I want to do it.
I don't think Dean deserves that, to be honest with you.
No.
I don't think he deserves that at all. So Davison's still under pressure here from De Bono, a little bit further back. Callum Rosanita hotly under pressure from Darren Fay, who locks it up very similarly to how Nick Martin did it a few laps ago. Caldwell now gets the job done around the outside in towards the uphill section as well. So Fay loses a spot after all of that. Tyler Sheep's done well in this race. He's up 6 spots inside the 10. Rosanita up 9. Caldwell up 21 at this stage of the race. How in the hell has Keegan Caldwell pulled that? How has he pulled that off? King Caldwell.
I've got to admit, his what would you call it? Like
his racecraft.
His trajectory of skill in these cars has gotten ridiculously better over the last few seasons from what I've seen.
I think it's joining velocity has probably actually helped him, being in that team environment with drivers around him who drive this car consistently, can give him tips, can help him get faster. We saw him struggle a few years ago when he wasn't quite C-class yet, so he couldn't drive these cars or the F3s in officials, and he was struggling. He'd then get into Class C, do the officials, and then drop out again. And that would then match how well he was doing each season. But being in this team, all of a sudden has changed the game for him. It's made it so he's got a consistent place that he can learn, improve over time, and try and improve himself as he goes along as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how much of a difference being in a team can make when you can compare, even just comparing telemetry with them and seeing what they do differently in each braking zone, where they accelerate, what gears, everything. It's just, it's amazing what difference it makes.
I don't know if anyone just heard that big squeak on the microphone, but that was my dog deciding to bring their ball in here as we're commentating. And it is the loudest squeak I've ever heard in my life. It was like getting one of those rubber chickens from, with the loud squeak on them and just pushing down on the cage and then letting go all at once. Just slowly releases the air that's in them as well. So now I'm going to ask
Yeah,
my partner to try and annoy the dog for me.
I thought you were at home and just swung the mic arm or the boom arm. That's what that sound reminded me of. But no, it's great to see that Keegan is progressing really well. We love to see it, and we love to see it for everyone improving over the seasons. And
Kaya Filio has been given another drive-through penalty, by the way, contact on lap 8. So he's all of a sudden doing more laps through the pit lane than on the actual circuit, unfortunately. Joining Velocity, Virgin Reward points. Oh, possibly.
That was a huge
Oh, Rosanita.
Lick the stamp and send it.
Lick the stamp and send it, son. Get the job done.
He saw the Twin Peaks and he took the
He did. Caldwell's got a drive-through penalty for contact on lap 9, so he's battling this back with Rosanita. Cal will know that Keegan has the drive-through, so there's not too much point battling this now as Depp's been in trouble. Need to make sure the teammates don't hit each other, but Faye wants to try and make it 3 wide. Drag race down towards turn 5 now.
I think this is about the time where I look away. There's 3 of my cars that they're together battling in a tight proximity.
They're still nice and tight. I mean, you'd be happy though, Jackals. They're all inside the top 10.
Oh, I am happy with the result. It may not sound it just because I can't really raise my voice without it breaking at the moment, so I'm trying not to. But yeah, I am very happy with how we're tracking in every race, though.
So, oh, there goes Caldwell. Oh, it's a big moment for him to unfortunately lose it there. Such a shame for Keegan Caldwell, who already has to deal with that drive-through as well. He's now going to have to bring that thing through the lane.
It says Fahey's crashed as well. Let me just...
Where is Fahey? Oh, he's there on the main straight. Could this be the safety car? Depp's come in. Dean Sinkovich has come in. Could this play into their hands? Perfect. He is rolling.
Does he have steer? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he has one wheel that he's able to steer. There's a car rolled in the pit entrance payment.
Wait, who is that? Is it? No, it's not Jason Depp. It's Dean Sinkovich, is it? No, he's in pit lane 2. Who is it that has rolled?
It's a silver car.
Okay, we've got to try and find this.
Is that Mazzaroli?
It is Mazzaroli. Oh my God. Jordan Mazzaroli has somehow ended up, and there's another car there too. This is absolute shambles. So what has happened to Darren Fahey and why has he ended up on the wall at, so there's Rosanita, inside line. Fahey catches the grass. Big and bump. Straight back across the road. So then how has this happened to Mazzaroli? So he comes round up towards... Hang on, so there's Kurt Heath. Oh my God!
He's jumped the... Wow.
Well, you've got to pay for style points. That is huge. But
that was more 50-50 grind. That was...
What in the world, what in the 360 McTwist was Kurt Heath thinking on this rejoin? So there's a car coming. There's another car coming. He stops. There's still a car coming, Kurt. And that...
He mustn't have been able to see the reflection of the silver car. He
mustn't have.
But
they're still there,
yeah,
so...
It's not a great look, but surely the safety car has to be deployed. It is at the end of the lane, so I believe it is waiting for the leaders to come around. They have been told there is caution on the pit lane entry. Luckily, it's not actually on the pit entry road. It's in between the 2 barriers that separate the 2 and the racetrack. That was a huge crash, Hamish.
Absolutely massive crash between them at this stage of the race. So the leaders come in and the safety car has been deployed. So now we can take a breath for a second. So we need to watch, where is Giuliano Sinise? Sinise's up into P8 and he's just joined pit lane. So let's see where he ends up after this actually, because this might work into his favour. This very well could work into the favour of Giuliano Sinise. So Sinise exits pits. Where does he exit? P13. So that early stop, Jack Oz, may have actually worked in Sinise's favour a little bit in terms of coming back, because he's been able to take a slightly shorter stop than other drivers, because he would have come in, fixed the car, taken a little bit of fuel. It may not be so bad for him now. He might be able to just fight his way forward.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be sorry, the comms are just going crazy at the moment with people trying to get.
I'm sure they are.
Things sorted and race control, trying to get things sorted under the safety car. Yeah, he would be having a massive relief with the early stop, and now he's been able to kind of get back onto the same sort of strategy as everyone else, I guess.
Well,
being able to.
I've just seen what's happened. So the safety car's picked up De Bono and Martin. Davison is holding the field up.
Interesting.
What is Davison doing? I mean, they're at the final corner. What is Danny Davison doing? So this is one of the reasons, and I'm not picking on Danny specifically here, but this is one thing that drivers need to remember driving in a league, is when a safety car is called, Jack Oz, they say it's race pace, but it's safe race pace up to the safety car train. This, being the speed of the train, is never going to catch the safety car, because the safety car is either going as fast or faster than this speed. So because Davison has not gone at a safe race pace to the back of the train, it's now backed everybody up and forced them pretty much to just that they're all together now. So now it's now really dangerous for them to go safe race pace, because they're all close and they're all going to be coming at a similar pace.
Yeah, I'm just confused. There was like a 50 odd or 60 odd second gap to the cars that were behind the safety car. Like, why has it been given that much? So he actually doesn't know where it is. He just asked where is the safety car, and the race controller told him that it is half a lap ahead of him to go, because he has been told to speed up the race a bit more race pace. But yeah, it's a bit of a confusing one. If I don't get it. But it's a bit more unsafe than safe, if you ask me, just going around
It is. And that's why they say safe race pace, because that's actually the safest way to do it. It's not crawling around. We've seen moments happen where people have gone crawling around and others have come at safe race pace, and then it's caused a worse accident because they've come around full pelt at a blind corner and not realised that someone's going slow up ahead of them. So, you know, safe race pace does not mean crawling. It means 9/10 or 8/10 on your pace. That's the relative meaning of it. Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, we'll see if RC are going to look at it. I'm not sure. It depends if it.
There are people questioning it.
Yeah, it depends if it matches the penalty matrix or the unsportsmanlike conduct, which, relatively speaking, it could be. Very well could be.
Yeah. I'm surprised that De Bono and Martin didn't take the chance to maybe pit. Then they had so much of a gap that they could have gotten back out.
To be fair, there's no point, because they're going to make it home anyway. They've got 10 minutes left. I mean, they could come in and take tyres, maybe.
Yeah, just get a fresh batch of tyres. You know how well these cars do under brand new tyres.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it is BS, Andrew. He should have not been driving that slow. That's why we mentioned, you know, safe race pace. So people who are watching who race understand that there is a no-no. That's a poor effort, if you ask me. You know, I think for something like that, it's up to race control. It's up to their discretion. It's up to the admin of the league as well. We can give our opinion on it within reason, of course. For me personally, I'd be very frustrated if I was Doug Gowans and I was stuck right behind him going that slow.
I can tell you right now,
I'd almost just drive past him, and I'd say, look, he was doing 80 kilometers an hour or 70, whatever it was. I'm not sitting here and waiting behind him where I could possibly get taken out by someone behind me when they're half a lap ahead of us. I'm catching the train. When he catches up, he can go back past. Like that's
it is
what
a
I
bit
would
of
say.
a weird one. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it to race control to talk about it any further. And you know what is good though is Nick Martin is now back up in second place.
He is indeed. So we didn't see him cop a penalty for that moment earlier. I'm not sure if he has or not, but he is back up there, which is good to see. It's good to see Sinize's just outside of the top. He's just outside the top 10. What would be interesting is if Davison were to get a penalty for that, if it was a drive-through, he's dropping to the back of the order, and Sinize's gaining points on him. So, I don't know. I mean, we'll leave it up to them. We'll leave it up to them. That is against the rules too, but like, at some point, you know, fair is fair. You know, I'm saying that personally as a driver. But yeah, if it's not too much trouble, could we get the graphic change for next week so we can see the time remaining when there's a safety car? We can tell you exactly how much time is remaining. There is 32.5 minutes done in this race. So we've got roughly 6.5 minutes left, 7 minutes left in this race. So
5 rounds are complete, so I believe we will be in at the end of next lap. Safety car, and we will be continuing racing. This will be roughly about, say, 5 minutes left for a 5-minute sprint for the end of the race.
Yep. I'll have a play around with the graphic. I might put it just right in the middle of the screen at the top, so it just sits up there like a banner at the very top of the screen. So we can play around with that as well, for sure.
What if you when you go to the double screen, if you put it somewhere over there, like off the main screen,
so like if it's at the
maybe
bottom
below here? Yeah,
Quite
so
possibly.
if you go to the double screen, you could make it safety car, and because I'm just sitting on the gearbox cam of the safety car to see behind. It could be an option.
It could be an option. I keep it in the same place because then it's in line with all the other broadcasts. To give everyone the inside baseball for a second, we like to keep all of them in line together. We could put it there, or I could also, as I said, just put it at the top of the screen. If it's at the top of the screen, it's not going to be in the way as well. It still will sit in a nice place in the double view too. But I'll have a play around with it and see what I can figure out, see which may be the better place for it, or as someone said, just resize it possibly as well. So we'll play around with it. We'll try and make it so you guys can see how long's left in the race whilst we have the safety car graphic up as well. Safety car is pulling away though from Dylan DeBono at the front of the field. So we're going to get ready to go green running once again. We're going to get 5 minutes of green running left in this race, Jack Oz. What's the prediction at this point? Do we think DeBono gets another win, or do we think Martin can hang with him and put the pressure on him?
It's hard to say. I really want Martin to come along with the win, just for the underdog. But I also don't want to give him the commentator's curse. So let's just say Sheepy comes away with the win. You know?
Yeah, rather give the commentator's curse to Sheepy for sure.
At least I can talk him down with the calm him down with the talk. Whereas I don't think I could do the same thing. As we go green flag racing once again, DeBono gets a 1 second lead already over the jump over.
He caught Nick napping then, to be fair, did DeBono. Oh, get him a blanket and a pillow. Nick Martin, unfortunately, left napping off the back of that restart. Tyler Sheaf, you've put the Moz on him, Jackos. He's gone off at turn 1, 2. You've legitimately mozzed him. Oh, my God. As it's a scramble for drivers to avoid. Oh, that is...
It's all right. It's my own team. I don't feel as bad.
Andrew,
Like, I feel bad for Sheafy, but don't feel as bad because it is my own.
Andrew, I will be doing Split 2 commentary next season of Vets. I have no plans of leaving Vets at this stage. I will be continuing to do Split 2. As Davison has now made his way past Nick Martin, Greg Johnston and Sam Katakazinas are inside each other on the back straight.
Each other.
They're pushing each other's buttons, it seems, and each other's cars as well. But for De Bono, it's been a perfect restart. He's already built up a 2-second gap.
Davison's got past Martin there as well.
Indeed.
And I do apologise to you, Sheepy, by the way, if you're listening along. I know you do like to listen.
Nah. That was Sheafy's fault. That wasn't yours. So Davis.
That's Johnny's fault.
Oh, yeah, absolutely Johnny's fault. Absolutely Johnny's fault. I'm so glad you're excited, Andrew. I look forward to seeing you back in Split 2 next season and seeing how you go as Andrew Martin is off the road. Down into the sand trap. Penalty for the... What penalty are we going to get a week off? Are we going to get a round ban? For showing two cars
going on the out, trying to make it around the outside of Brooke.
Oh, he is indeed.
He's in the top 10 again, so he's making up.
But at this stage, he's dropping too many points. He's still giving up more than what he gained in race 1. He will be hoping and praying that Danny Davidson were to get a drive-through penalty in this race. It's either going to... What Sinise would hope for is either a drive-through or a points penalty for Davison if he were to get one for that moment on the under safety car. So we're completely, semantics at this point. But if Davison were to get one, Sinise would want him to get a drive-through or a points penalty at this stage. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll wait and see what Race Control say about it, if it was called in, and how they feel it can best be surmised. As Schmalenberg side by side with Caldwell further back in the field. 2 minutes to go on the clock as Caldwell gets that job done. De Bono has got... Where is he on track? He's just at turn 4. So I'd say 3 laps to go, Jackos, including this one. 2 when he crosses the line.
Keegan's gone around.
Oh, we clicked away too early, and Caldwell has spun it up at turn 2.
And Jason Depp's gone wide at the next corner because he tried to avoid Keegan.
He's got it going again. Yeah, he's got it going again, but he has dropped some spots as Jason Depp. As Katakazinas is now trying to fight his way forward. There's Sinise. He's on the charge. P9 at this stage. We've got 3 cars out of this race. Cam Hardwick, Steve Singovich, Martin Lofthouse, Heath, Faye, Benici are all in pit lane, so we'd assume they're out as well. Wakefield's getting off tracks left, right and centre at this stage, including a drop of position as he's out in the kitty litter at the moment. So has to wait for the opportunity to get back on track. There goes Andrew Proctor. He now gets that job done as Gowans and Gerard go side by side. The former teammates battle it out here for position as Gerard rockets through. Oh, and rockets straight into the wall after catching the grass on the exit. White flag lap though. 1 to go for De Bono when he crosses the line. And it's heartbreak for Matt Gerard, but for De Bono, it could be a perfect night on the road.
A couple cars requesting a tow as well.
Yeah, I'd say one of them is Keegan Caldwell, possibly. I know Matt Gerard would be at this stage. Oh, that's why. Keegan Caldwell's got big damage, so we'll have a look at that after the race. Greg Barber's over the radio. I'd assume he's letting them tow. As De Bono comes up and towards the final sector of this Barber Motorsports Park circuit. It's really turned it on tonight through the carnage and controversy and the chaos that can be formed from the MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship. We've had every little box ticked across this night of racing. And for Dylan De Bono, he's ticked all the boxes in terms of what he had to do on track tonight. It was a win in race number 1, and it's now going to be a win in race number 2 for Dylan De Bono and Velocity Simlag's perfect night on the road for De Bono. Davison is going to cross the line P2. Nick Martin will get the Pro-Am win and a podium ahead of Doug Gowans, Cal Hodgkinson, Callum Rosaniti, your top 6. Matt Tesseriero, Giuliano Sinise, P8 on the road. Hudson and Sinkovic gets an AM class win and P10 on the road. He's not only got his AM class win, Jackos, but after about 2 years, I can finally say Dean Sinkovic has finished inside of the top 10.
Yeah, you love to see it. I don't think he's definitely been improving over the last couple of seasons, both in the GR86 and in the SFLs, and great to see him come away with a couple of class wins this season, and great to see him in the 10 overall.
So we'll have a look at this moment that happened for Keegan Caldwell that caused his car to what can only be described as just explode into thin air. So it was up at the fast right-hander, caught the bump.
Ooh.
Oh my God. That thing was absolutely destroyed.
I would have loved to see the onboard of that in the VR.
Oh, that would have been...
That would have...
Well, we can get... we can get pretty close to that, actually.
Would have rocked my world.
Rock anyone's world, really. Let's have a look at this. Driver's eye. Let's have a look. Caught the bump. Round he went. And then, hello, Walt. Oh, my God. That there is a moment to forget for Keegan Caldwell, unfortunately. But for his teammate, Dylan DeBono, he had one hell of a night on the road. And he caught himself one hell of a set of victories. If I can find him on my list, this would be good. Because then we can go to replay.
Guackle in the chat saying 399's repair bill will be one VR headset.
Oh, it will indeed. It will indeed. As we wait for our podium finishers to hop into the green room here this evening, our feature race results, provisional as they are on your screens now. Dylan DeBono finishes ahead of Danny Davidson and Nick Martin on the overall podium this evening. Doug Gowans, Callum Hodgkinson, Callum Rosanita, Matt Tesseriero, Giuliano Sinise, Brad Hudson, and Dean Sinkovic make up the top 10. We've cut it down to only 4 people to have a chat to tonight, Jackos. DeBono, Davison, Martin, and Sinkovic. You know the question that's going to be on our lips to Davison about that safety car restart. We're going to ask the question. We're definitely going to ask the question. Tim Schmalenberg, Brandon Levin, Matt Fu, Jason Depp, Nathan Verney, your top 15. Ben Brook, Andrew Proctor, Kevin Wakefield, the top 18 cars on the grid, on the provisional results here tonight, ahead of Sam Katakazinis, Andrew Martin, Tyler Sheaf, Greg Johnson, Matthew Gerard, Kaya Filio, Keegan Caldwell, Jordan Mazzaroli, the last of the finishers, 3 laps down. Kurt Heath, Darren Fay, Sean Benici, Cam Hardwick, Stephen Sinkovic, and Martin Lofthouse, the non-finishers here this evening out at Barber. Let's see who we've got in to have a chat to us. We will start by forcing Dean Sinkovic to come and have a chat to us tonight because he's in the lounge. Oh, he's just joined the green room, so let's have a quick chat to Dean. We'll quickly set this up by selecting his car, of course. And for the second time in his career, and for the first time inside of the top 10, Dean Sinkovic, you're once again a class winner in the AMs, but you finally got the car inside the 10, Dean, and it just had to be a week that I did not predict you to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, it was very lucky actually. I think there's a lot of people who come off and spins and so forth. So I took the advantage of it and got there to the end.
Now, what was it like battling out there? Because it was pretty hectic, Dean, and there was quite a lot of obviously crashes happening. But I want to ask you because there was a pretty big moment in this race, pretty controversial. It was the second safety car. Nick and Dylan had been picked up by the safety car where they should have been, but Danny was going slow at the front of the train, which was backing everybody up. What was going through your mind in that moment, and how were the frustrations brewing at that point as well?
Definitely frustrating because we knew what was going on. It was just like, what the hell was going on? Move forward. We didn't understand why they didn't pick the pace up or anything like that. So I know that was called in. It's going to be reviewed. So we'll see where it comes out of. It's a strange one. I've never seen anything like that, actually. So yeah, it was frustrating at the back, especially driving about 30 k's, thinking, why are you not, near the safety car and so forth. So anyway,
Yeah, we'll
race
see.
control will do their job.
They will, and they'll
Yeah.
pick that apart. They'll determine, is it unsportsmanlike or what other rules may it be breaking, and then determine a correct penalty
Correct.
on that one as well. But how's it feel? I mean, it's a second class win for you this season.
Is it? There you go.
You had one a couple of weeks ago, I remember. But the first time in the top 10 as well. So how does it finally feel to get that monkey off your back?
You know what? I had Hutto on my rear end in 10 posse, and I just had to let him go through because I stuffed up one of my corners. And then I saw someone spun on the last corner. I thought, fantastic, top 10. So I just wanted to finish first of all. That was the first target. So I knew after the safety car, I didn't want to push it too hard. I relaxed a little bit and made it home.
Let's quickly point out as well, you're the first Sinkovic to get a top 10 in the SFLs as well. Stephen is yet to get that monkey off his back. So you were not only the first Sinkovic to get a class win in the SFLs, you're also the first one to get a top 10 as well. So congratulations on that one. There's a couple of things to add to the resume.
You don't think Steve's ever going to get a top 10, do you?
Maybe if there's 10 cars on track. But Dean, let us know helps get you and Team SRW Motorsports out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well for myself, Jack Oz, and everyone else? Congratulations on your class win.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, most definitely want to obviously thank you guys in the booth that do this week in, week out. Without you guys, we don't have a league, or we do have a league, but it's a quieter league. But so, pat on the back to you blokes in the booth. Hamish, well done. RC, all the boys in RC and girls, and obviously the races on track. Was it 30-something plus tonight? Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think about 32 at one point. So
yeah, there you go. And all those guys and girls that race, come on board. SRW, we're a great, fun, exciting racetrack, and we take it professional in the sense of managing the league, and also we can't forget our great sponsors like Grim's with us all the way, and Warren and Brown, and not to forget our new sponsor MOZA. So thank you to all of them. Hopefully there's more sponsors coming on board soon, so if you're interested, give me a tingle, or Steve if you want to come on board. We're always welcome for new sponsors, so thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, Dean. Appreciate you coming to have a chat to us. Best of luck next week at the Saxon Ring. We'll see if you can back it up again.
Ooh, be nice.
Oh, we'll see. See you, mate.
Cheers.
Next up, we have our P3 on the road this evening. P1 for the Pro-Ams, Nick Martin. He's recently caught up with Jack Anderson after his podium finish and his Pro-Am win.
There it is. Evening,
Nick
Jack.
Martin, how are you after the podium there? And you must be feeling great.
Yeah, feeling really good about that one. Didn't think it after I qualified 20th for the feature, but the sprint. But then clawed it back to pole and took it from there. Had a little bit of a netcode incident, I think, with Callan, which is a bit of a shame. You never want to see that happen, but these things do. So here we are.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to admit we really loved your aggressive defending and just sticking it to the front runners, and we just loved it. So keep it up, and hope to see you up here again in the near future.
Well, I've discovered that the best way to defend against the other Pro-Ams around here is to have a whole heap of pros behind you. So they tend to fight amongst themselves and they can't get up to you. So.
No, we definitely love to see it. Is there anyone that you'd like to thank on that gets you on track week in, week out?
Guys at Velo Seats, yeah, they've recently jumped on board, so it's good to see them. The crew at Jesus Racing for slapping their name on the car as well, and myself for making good-looking livery. And Dad, obviously, for racing alongside me. It's good to have him.
Well, it's great when we get to see both of you on camera each week. Nick, when you guys are both racing, it's definitely good to check in with both of you whenever you're both out there on track. We saw the disappointment in your face when you did make the mistake with Cal, but we knew that you were going to try and fight back as best you could. So congratulations, mate. P3 is a phenomenal effort as well as a class win tonight as well.
Yeah, it's good to be back on the podium.
Well, mate, hopefully it's not too long before you get back up here again. Best of luck next week at the Saxon Ring. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much. See you then.
Thank you. Next up, we have our P1 on the road this evening in both races. So not only does he take the feature race win, he also takes the round win as well next to his name off Velocity Sim Labs. He's back in winning ways. It is Dylan DeBono. Dylan, little while.
Hey, guys.
Little while, but a bit of form is back in your favour. Double win tonight. Last week you had, from memory, a fairly good running at Chicago, but yeah, you're back in it. You're back in championship fight, and it seems that you came out the beneficiary of the safety car because you came out at the front of the field whilst the whole field was getting held up by another driver.
Yeah, just thought I wasn't going to get past him cleanly without working a bit of strategy because, haven't had the best of run with him being dulled and stuff like that. So thought I had to use a bit of strategy to get around him. And yeah, sort of worked, and I didn't really know what he was doing there, just backing the whole field up. But fair play.
Well, Dill, you had a great run in race one, of course, took the race win. Race two, then it was all the work that you needed to do, try and get yourself from the back of the top 10 up towards the front of the field. What was it like trying to traverse through all the chaos? Because it was pretty chaotic. There was quite a few crashes happening, obviously, as well. But also keeping the car nice and clean because we saw a multitude of drivers getting caught out by the fast right, sort of at the back end of the circuit. Did you have any worries or moments where you thought, oh, the rear's going to go here, I've got to try and keep this nice and steady through this corner?
I think when I was in traffic, I was actually was helped out a lot by Doug because he was in front of me, and we were sort of working together a little bit to try and get up the field, and I was just being patient behind him, and just me being behind him made me not do anything silly, and just held in there.
Well, mate, it's been phenomenal to see you back up at the front of the field. Hopefully this is a sign of good things to come for the rest of this season. Let us know, helps get you and Velocity Sim Labs out on track. Big congratulations to myself and Jack Oz and the rest of the team at SRW on your round win here this evening at Barber Motorsports Park. And it's great to have you back up at the front of the field.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Firstly, thanks to Velocity Sim Labs, all the help they've been doing in the background. Matty especially, he put in a lot of practice this week and wrote down some notes and stuff like that. So big shout out to him. Like Hokie Power Tools, Here to Race YouTube channel. You guys are putting the league on and the broadcast. And don't forget to check out Velocity Sim Lab out on Facebook.
Very good, Dylan. Best of luck next week at the Saxon Ring. Look forward to seeing how you go and see if you can try and make this another reoccurring thing of you taking some race wins before the end of the season.
Yeah, it would be nice to take another clean sweep.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see, mate. Best of luck next week. Look forward to seeing how you go.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Well, Jack Oz, that'll bring it into our show this evening. Massive thank you to you once again. It was a great race at Barber. It proved to be a phenomenal night of racing. Really, some great battles on track that we saw. Some, very intense but high-quality racing between some drivers. I mean, Nick Martin, what a way to defend at the front of the field. Phenomenal stuff. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off for him, but them's the breaks sometimes. But also, as well, the one thing that we love, bit of carnage and chaos that completely flipped the whole field on its head.
Yeah, exactly, and we'd love to see it. It definitely brought out the good racing out here, and had a couple of shades of Chicago trickling into the track, and there's not quite as many incidents, of course, but a couple people making the wall pretty hard, like they did last week. I believe did DeBono win both races last?
I know he won one. So if he won both, he's currently on four in a row,
yeah,
which
four
is a
on the
phenomenal
trot,
effort.
which
So,
is he definitely hopes to bring the current form into next week, and I'm definitely very excited to see what the rest of the season has on offer for us.
well, we know that things can happen in the background. We know that Race Control will definitely be looking into the moment on that safety car. Could that completely change the championship? Could it open the door for some other drivers to get involved in this championship battle? And how will they fare leading into the Saxon Ring next week? We'll wait to get some news on it to really announce anything. We're not sure yet what may happen. It's all up to Race Control, and they'll go through their systems, of course. But this could be the big pivotal moment that brings a lot more drivers into this championship battle. and could take some out of it as well. But a big thank you has to go out to all of our series sponsors. Of course, our title sponsors, Warren & Brown Tools, for their support of the Tuesday Night Fiat Supercars Series and the Sunday Night Fiat Supercars Championship. To MOZA Racing for their support of the Wednesday Night Super Formula Championship coming on board this season and this year for 2025 to support the series as well. To Shannon's Insurance for their support of the Thursday Night Toyota GR86 Nationals, as well to our other series sponsors, Shunt Scenery, Grim Industries, home of the V8 Coffee Table, which can be found on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia during the news, interviews and other studio segments. And to Pheonix Driver Development, send a message out to PDD if you're looking to get some training, some practice, or even some setups as well. You can message them on Facebook, or you can also shoot a message over to Laz or Rehan Leonage on Discord, and they'll try and set you out a session or set you up with a setup as well for the supercar. But I'm Hamish Munro, joined by Jack Anderson once again this week. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us once again. We'll see you guys next week for the Saxon Ring, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night with James Parfin and Steve Singovich in the booth for Alton Park International Circuit of the Shannon's Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.